boop 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 bow boop 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 boop. Oh, sorry. I don't have no opening music, people. We here. Let's go.
Yo.
What's up, everyone?
What's up, everybody?
What's happening, y'all?
To the chat.
Thank y'all for tuning in. Let me see. Let's see real quick. Walter Blackman Jr. in the building. Wacko in Brooklyn. JJ's here.
Yep.
Andrew K's in the building. What's going on, y'all?
Andrew.
Appreciate y'all. Almighty Finesse is here. We rocking. All right. Well, listen. Thank you guys for waiting. Appreciate it. Just had to kind of get some stuff together. Make sure we got it right. Oh man, look at this. Look who's in the building. Look, I see you, Jose. What's going on, brother?
Jose.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you, bro. As always.
Yep.
All right.
Pretty much covered everybody.
Yeah, man. Listen, guys. I think I already kind of mentioned the breakdown a couple different times at various moments, but once again, what we're going to try to do for you guys is give you a little sneak peek into our minds of what our mock drafts would look like individually, right? And then we're going to hit you with the consensus mock draft of kind of what we think might happen. Not saying that we're happy with everything, but it's a chance that it could go this way. It could change, obviously. Who knows what to think, man? You know, it's a wild time right now with everything going on with the rumors. And the funny thing is it all revolves around the New York Knicks. We got Kyrie Irving, we got Ivy, we got Brogdon. All the rumors revolving around the Knicks. So it's a great time. And I hope half of them are wrong. I only want one of them, to be honest. So,
Right.
Thank you, Walter Blackman. Appreciate the super chat, brother. Thank you, bro. As always, man, you always are in the chat early. You are rocking with us all the time, man. Thank you. All right. Without further ado, first off, let me do this. Let me say what's up to my guys, because I got NBA mock draft feet sports here. My man Prophet in the building.
What's up, my people?
What's happening? And then I got my guy down at the bottom here. That's D, the draftologist in the building.
Hi, how you doing? Should put on a suit or something like that.
Yeah.
I was gonna get suited and booted. It's too hot for that right now. I can't do it.
Hell yeah, I thought the same thing.
I'm sorry. All right, man. We're gonna see what we got cracking here. Thank you to the chat once again, Brooklyn Buddha. Appreciate you. Sherwin M is in the building. All right, man. Dope. Okay, guys. So, you know, like I said, we're gonna give you kind of what we think we would like, and then we'll get into the consensus. So, first up to bat. All right, guys. This is our 2022 NBA mock draft first round, 1 through 10 are the picks here. You can see Ron, Prof, and, you know, D's World of Hoops right there. I'm going to, you know, blow it up a little bit so you guys can get a quicker look at it, a little better look at it. And then we're going to come back to this view so that way we can really kind of just talk about it real quick and give you guys a little bit of what we rocking with here. So that's what it looks like, fellas. This is what we're talking about here. Hopefully y'all can see that pretty well. It's tough to get all this on one screen, so bear with us. But hey, even if you can't read the name, you can see the face. Yeah, man. So that's what they're looking like, bro. Let's see here. Okay,
Pick one, man. Let's go.
First pick. Ron picks Chet Holmgren at number 1. Prof picks Chet Holmgren at number 1, and my man, the draftologist here, picks Paolo Banchero at number 1. And actually, who knows, man? Paolo's starting to creep up on a lot of mock drafts as the consensus number 1. So, you know, who knows? Yeah, man. I personally went with Chet because I just think that, you know, that's what's going to happen. I don't know how anybody else feels. I think it's kind of straight. I don't know if they're going to deviate. We'll see.
I'll tell you, I went Chet because I think the combination of fit and talent really works out well. There won't be an obligation for Chet to play center because Wendell is pretty good. Wendell Carter is pretty solid at holding down that position. But Chet, offers you a myriad of skills and things that he can do. So I think it's a really good fit. He's a tall power forward, but he'll make it work. I think overall, the combination of fit and talent, I don't want to say necessarily he's the most talented, but I think the combination in that situation lends me to believe he'll be the number one.
How about you, Ron? Why do you pick Chet?
I just think that, I have a feeling that he may not be the number one overall pick, but I think he makes the most sense for who's picking at number one.
Yeah. Definitely. In our opinion, because we clearly see that D has chosen Paolo.
Yeah, my reason for Banchero is because I just feel he's the best overall talent amongst that pool. Like, he has the less holes in his game than everybody else. With Jabari, he has a problem putting the ball on the floor and being able to create consistently. Chet has questions with the same thing. And plus how he's going to deal with NBA physicality, or if they put him at the 4, how is he going to deal with the NBA speed on the perimeter?
Yeah,
it's something to be questioned. And then Jaden has a whole bunch of question marks as well. So that's why I feel like Banchero has the less holes in his game, and that he not only will be impactful too, he will be a lot more easier to build quicker because he does lack, those holes in the game, and he's already NBA prepared to score 20 a night, 9, 4. I think he's prepared for that right off the bat. I don't think anybody else amongst that top 4, top 5 is ready to do what he could do.
You may be right there. You may be right.
All right, so I'll say in support of you, D, on that pick. Paolo was, and I know it's just a Drew league, but I'll never forget how dominant he was against grown men in that league.
Right.
And that's a really important thing to think about, is that these young men are getting ready to face probably the most physical, the most athletic, also the most smart, the smartest combination of players that they're ever going to face. And off the bat, it's probably going to be difficult, but if you have a little bit of confidence in the physicality, I'll give Paolo pluses in those areas for sure. So,
cool, agree.
Yeah, no, that I can agree with that. I think Paolo's special. Salute to Geraldine McIver, Julian Blum, Be Civilized, Drip Moore, Eric Surreal, Paris Duggar in the building. So who we have here at number 2? I went with Jabari Smith. And that's to OKC. And I think, Prof went with Jabari Smith as well. And man, listen, these gonna have a lot of talking points in this one. Yeah, he went with this is kind of it's not even a sleeper, because a lot of people feel like anything could happen with this pick. He went with Jaden Ivey at number 2 to OKC. So I'm Prof.
Yes, sir.
Why did you go with Jabari Smith?
Again, I think it's a combination of talent and fit. I think with them, spacing is something that is going to be important for them. He can shoot it. He can stretch the floor a little bit, not a little bit, a lot of it. With Gilgeous Alexander, Giddey being guys that like to drive the ball, drive and dish, it works well for the combination and the style of play that he has. D referenced some of the limitations he has putting the ball on the floor. That's legitimate. But when you think about the style that they play and the way that they play, it fits really well with the drive and kick element, and also reverse it if Jabari ever does drive. And I'm sure that part of his game is going to expand. Those guys will be out there to also catch and shoot. So I think the dynamic of being able to kind of go inside, outside, outside, inside a little bit comes into play, and Jabari is the best fit, in my opinion, for that team.
Okay. I don't want to basically say the exact same thing or something too similar to what you're saying, but I agree with you. And I feel like I think Jabari makes OKC something special. I think they've needed a polished or someone who could be a polished big for quite some time. Young, athletic, can shoot, stretch the floor. Like, I don't see why that wouldn't be a match made in heaven.
No.
So I like it, especially with all the other good guards they have on the team now. Who knows what they're going to do with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander? They may move him, and so then they may be lacking. But if they keep all those pieces, I think it works well. D, why'd you go with Jaden Ivey at number 2?
Okay. Before I do that, do me a favor, Ron. Bring up Sherwin's comment about Banchero defensively.
Okay,
thank you. I just want to address that real quick. Because in isolation, opponent shot 7 of 32 for 22% against him in isolation. Okay, and guards that were P&R ball handlers shot 3 of 23 for 13%.
That's excellent
against
stuff.
Banchero.
Excellent.
So, yeah, did Banchero fall asleep sometimes on the weak side, and also pick and roll coverages? Absolutely. But to call him a defensive hoe, I think he's shooting a little bit too far there. He showed a lot of upside there, and I think he'll definitely translate as being able to defend a 3 or 4 in the NBA. So
and I'll speak to that too. You know, he's a very intimidating physical presence, and I think that's part of the element. Like, he can move, so when he's playing against a guard's not going to necessarily be able to get around him without him getting some length and being able to block a shot. Again, demonstrated that against men. So, you know, I definitely support that. Maybe on the weak side, maybe there's some limitations there. Maybe the length element comes into play a little bit, and the inability to recover on that weak side. That's where Chet's really good. But a guy that's great in ISO D. Paolo's pretty solid. Yeah, so.
I mean, of course, like, he's not a rim protector, right? And even though his measurables are not bad at 6'10", 7'1", he still is not like fearsome in the interior where like a guy might think about going up on him and he alters shots and stuff of that nature. Paolo's not that type of guy. But as far as the upside to perimeter defend and to be able to hold his own at the 4 position, I think he's got plenty of upside for that. Yeah. Okay. I just want to address that. Sorry. Okay. Jaden Ivey. So not a lot of people are going to have this. This is one of my surprise picks because how would I put this? Last year, I had picked Scotty Barnes to go to Toronto. And I called that out like at the end of May. And I said, nah, you know, he's going to go, boom, and he went. This is my surprise here. Jaden Ivey to the Oklahoma City Thunder because Oklahoma City Thunder in a precarious situation where Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is going to start his first year under the $30 million contract. And also, 2, they have a really big problem putting butts at the seats of the tenders consistently in Oklahoma City Thunder. Well, they take care of those issues because Jaden Ivey's box office. Jaden Ivey can score 9 points, 6 assists, 5 turnovers, and people will still come to see him play. And I think that's very appealing to the OKC Thunder, especially that they have a lot of guys that, you know, they've signed or are going to be at the end of the rookie contracts and stuff. They have to start making moves. They've been rebuilding for a couple of years. And I think they try to hit a home run here because Jaden Ivey has a lot of holes in his game. And Jaden Ivey, it's very important for him to be in the right developmental staff and organization that understands that if he does have the upside for superstardom, it's not going to happen right away. It's going to take 2 or 3 years. And I think OKC is the right candidate and the right developmental organization in order to harness that explosiveness and that dynamicism that he possesses. So I see OKC, they took a shot last year in taking Giddey with the 6th pick. I think they do the same thing this year. They have nothing to lose. They have everything to gain by getting these, you know, high ceiling type of guys that, you know, that could slowly grow and evolve within their system. And there's other reasons too, but basically mainly for that. That's why Jaden Ivey makes, you know, a lot of sense to me at number 2.
Makes sense. I mean, listen, I can't argue with it. It does make sense. it's a reason why it's not a shocker. It definitely could happen. So at pick number 3, I picked Paolo Banchero. Prof picked Paolo Banchero, and this is where D picked Jabari Smith. So I think we've already kind of talked about why we like Paolo Banchero. I'll just say for me, I picked him at 3 just because of the fit. I mean, and also the fact that, you know, after I went through Chet and Jabari, he's to me the third best overall player right now. I mean, Jaden Ivey may eventually become better than one or two of these guys, but at the moment, I think Paolo is better than Jaden Ivey, and you know, that's why I did that. I don't know if that's the same reason why you went, you know, Paolo at 3, Prof.
Similar, definitely. I mean, again, he's the third talent left at that board, and again, I understand why D went Paolo 1. There's a lot to like there. I like this fit personally. I like the perimeter orientation that they have. I don't think Jabari fits. It's too many guys hanging out there on the perimeter, dancing with the ball. But Paolo can do a lot of different things and gives them a touch of physicality that they're missing on that team. So I think it's a nice fit. It helps them a ton to have a guy like that that can operate at 3 levels and get some really good scoring, but have that physical presence in doing it, because Jalen Green is progressed 3-level scorer as well now, but the physicality element is a little bit different. So,
and I apologize, guys. I'm just we've been talking about this so much, I almost kind of forget that I got to think about this as if, you know, people are not familiar, and that could be the case. So I also want to say, when I'm saying the third pick, it's, you know, Paolo, the third pick is Houston's pick. So it's to Houston. Just want to put that out there. And so the second pick was OKC, and the first pick was the Orlando Magic. So, D, what do you think about, you know, having Jabari Smith as your third pick to Houston? Why'd you pick that? And I actually kind of like Jabari Smith to Houston in a way. It's not bad. I don't know.
No, I mean, there's a lot to like about him, but just to touch on something you guys said about Paolo is very important. See, like, if he goes to like a Houston, he's really, and this is anywhere, Orlando, wherever he goes, he could also run your pick and roll. Like, he could literally run your pick and roll. So he's going to make guys, if he goes on Houston, Jalen Green and stuff, he's going to make their lives a lot easier. Cole Anthony or Jalen Suggs, he's going to make their lives a lot easier. There's going to be a lot of space to play with him. So that's another reason why I have him going number 1. But I just wanted to add that in. No matter where he goes, he brings those type of intangibles where he could possibly run your offense, you know, a couple of possessions a night and stuff like that, and get good results from that. So that's something about him too. But to Jabari, I picked him there because I like his constant, like, threat to stretch the floor, right? And like, that defender is going to have to stick on him all the time. You cannot leave him open. Like if somebody turns the corner and has to rotate, it won't happen, because I think Jabari Smith, when he comes out, I think day 1 could be shooting 40% from 3. Day 1 on at least 3 to 4 to 5 attempts. You would not be able to leave him open. So I think with Sengun at center, right? Because Sengun, very high IQ player. Okay. You got Jalen Green developing into a dynamic wing player. Okay. I feel that Jabari really fits very well with those type of pieces that they have there, because he's going to be their, we call that versatile perimeter defender. So they're going to get out on the break a lot. Jabari's going to be sprinting to the corner, and he's going to hit that open shot with regularity, in my opinion. So I just feel that Houston would really get a home run with him there, especially with the type of roster they're trying to construct with those, you know, with Jalen Green and stuff of that nature as their core pieces. So he fits very well.
Okay. So yeah, and I want to give you guys a little bit of a heads up. So we're going to kind of go through give you a little bit more in depth of a thought process into why we pick these guys from 1 to 11 till we get to the Knicks pick, and then we'll kind of speed it along, as we get through that, because we do want to get to the consensus mock draft. We're going to use the engine for that and just go through the picks that way. You'll see it on the board and you'll see them as we pick them. So that gets us to number 4. Mm-hmm. And this is interesting because once again, I think that it could go either way. Like there's a lot that could go on here with this guy because Keegan Murray is a special pick. So I went with Keegan Murray to Sacramento at 4. Prophet went with Keegan Murray at 4 to Sacramento, and this is where D went with Chet Holmgren to Sacramento, which is interesting. I went with with Keegan Murray is just because of the fact that I think his versatility really helps that team. They've already got Sabonis as one of their bigs over there, and I think they I think they're pretty good in the guard area. They may want to make some changes, but they've got good guards. And I think that they're starting to kind of phase out the marriage between them and Harrison Barnes. And what better way to phase that out than to get a guy like Keegan Murray who can do what Harrison Barnes does and maybe be even a better talent. So I like that pick for them. What about you, Prof?
Keegan Murray, like the productivity. I think he's going to be a very useful scorer. They have De'Aaron Fox, ball dominant guy. Even Davion has a little bit of that in him as well. Sabonis is not. So when you think about how Sabonis and Keegan can play off of each other, it's actually going to help both those players become more impactful offensively. So I think that's a really unique dynamic that they have. And overall, I just see it being the best possible fit. Normally, I'm a big believer in best overall talent, but he's kind of the best of both worlds in that, and that it fits, with Sacramento being where they're at in their rebuild, they got to consider how guys work. They've done the draft multiple guards and best overall talent with the Halliburton, Davion Mitchell, Fox setup. So I think they need to go in this direction for number 4.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Sounds good.
I agree with you guys. The reason why I had it different was because if Banchero, Jabari, and Chet are off the board early on that before that 4th pick, they're taking Keegan. Especially that Jaden declared that he wasn't going there. Which I had Jaden going there. And then the Kings try to fluff some smoke saying they're like, oh, we were looking for Keegan. And then a couple of days later, Jaden declares he's not going to the Kings. So obviously that was their thinking in order for him to declare that he's not going to the Kings. Right. So it could have been correct that the Kings were up to their old tricks about overloading at certain positions when they have young talent, like a Halliburton, Davion Mitchell thing, and probably try to bring Jaden Ivey. Maybe he didn't want to get caught in that mess, whatever. So in my mind, right, Jaden's going to be picked 2nd, right? So that would leave him with Chet. And I don't think, because don't forget, they messed up with Luka, right? They took Marvin Bagley, right? So, and they still hear that to this day. So I think the pressure's on them that either though Chet has a high bust probability, but it's that what if we can't have this happen again. And I think they swing on Chet and that scenario, and they take the risk over that before taking Keegan. So
I mean, that makes sense. I can see that. That's it's a high probability. Okay. All right, that works. With the 5th pick, I picked Jaden Ivey to the Detroit Pistons. I think whatever happens, Detroit is looking to get themselves some type of dynamic guard. They want a high flyer, dynamic type player at that position, whether Jaden's there or someone else is there. That's what they're looking for. So I went with him because of the fact that looks like that's what Detroit wants. That's on their wish list. Prof, you went with Shaedon Sharpe, another dynamic guard.
Hey, Boogie.
Yeah, okay. And then D went with Keegan Murray here. So I basically explained why I went with Jaden Ivey. Prof, why did you go with Shaden Sharp?
Shaden Sharp is, again, 2-guard. I think he's really going to be a dynamic complement to Kay Cunningham. So I think that's got to be where you're looking at. Best talent possible. They really have a really strong culture already over there. Got the physicality integrated in there. So I just think Shaden's the best fit. Again, outstanding talent. I don't think I would let him drop past there if I was another team and I had a pick. Just because the reward element is massive. So
So the only question I have, and I think some other people might have, is why did you go with Shaden Sharp over Jaden Ivey?
I like the body and I like the explosiveness that exists. Now, can't question his explosiveness as over Jaden Ivey's, but I think the frame is for me. I have more confidence in that frame, that style of player, and that physicality than I do primarily in versus Jaden. So I think so Shaden, I believe, is what, 6'6", 6'7".
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like that fit over. I think Ivey's about 6'4", so right. So that for me is a difference maker in terms of that length, and I think the explosiveness is actually pretty similar. So
okay,
yeah.
And D, why did you go with Keegan Murray to Detroit at 5?
Okay, so my thing, Prof, with Shady on, right? I'll answer your question in a second, right? It's just I say things I want to address. With Shady on is that, you see, when you take a guy high like that, right? He better wow you in the workouts, right? And I've heard reports that teams have been underwhelmed by him, and motor issues have come up. So I'm just saying that, of course, that the physical looks great. That the vertical, right? The potential elite athleticism, it looks fantastic. But does the inside match the outside? And I think that's what teams are gonna,
Well, I mean, and I'll say this, the guy hasn't been technically seen, but I believe in the talent, and I'll simply just say that the talent shines so bright that I'll shoot that shot there in that spot. I'll take that shot because if you're going to draft that high in the draft, I think you have to shoot for a high level talent. And I love the Jaden pick. I love the Jaden pick as well. That has that outcome, and it might be a little bit safer. But for me, I love that size. I love the combination of talent.
Yeah.
And I'm a guy. Reports are reports to me, and that's just how I've always been. I trust my eyes, and all I would say is, obviously, if I can get one more look or a taste of seeing them for myself, that would make me feel even more confident with this pick.
I heard you.
Yeah.
And that would be a really good place for him. Dwayne Casey would be very good for him.
Excellent.
Yeah. So
he would impose a defensive mentality on him. He would impose a defensive mentality on him, and I think that would be huge for him. That would help.
Yeah. And an energetic one too, because he preaches a lot of energy on both sides of the floor as well. So.
Right.
Yeah.
Before you get to your Keegan Murray pick, D, let me just shout everybody out. IQJ.
Oh, you left out a super chat too, Ron.
Okay. I didn't see it. I apologize. IQJ, Keyshawn. Let me see. Keith Turner's in the building. The Public Enemy #1, Long Island Sound. Appreciate you guys. Eric Surreal's in the building. Building Blocks is here. Big Shiesty's in the building. My man Shaw Powers is here. D Coolest is in the building. Thank you guys for tuning in.
Thank you guys for coming. Absolutely.
It's weird. You know what? You can talk. Let me pull up something else, because for whatever reason, that super chat is not pulling up on my end.
Yeah, I think it was from Walter. It was towards the beginning though.
I got it.
Already. Oh, you did? Okay, my fault.
Yeah.
All right. Keegan. I went with Keegan here because obviously he's the best like next best available player, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think him and Cade would be killer, bro. Like them two together playing off each other with that size and length on the perimeter, defensively, offensively.
100% agree.
Yeah. I think it's a killer combo. And I think, back to Dwayne Casey again, because I'm really a big Dwayne Casey fan. I think he's a really good coach. I think he's great for Keegan Murray. And it's funny because him, Keegan and Cade, they both have like a very like smooth, quiet type of way about them, but they're killers. And so I think that's a nice little culture piece. Build it there. Plus, I mean, Keegan's the most efficient player, in my opinion, in the top 5, top 10 throughout the whole draft. So I just felt that if the draft did go like this, I think it would be a no-brainer for Detroit to take Keegan. And they will be very happy with that for many years.
Yeah, I hear you. I mean, listen, the thing is, like these guys, especially, when you're talking anywhere, I don't know, maybe 1 through 7. I don't know what the cutoff is, but maybe you could say 1 through 7, wherever those guys are going, not really mad. I mean, these are all good players. Like, it's just what one fit could be better than the other fit, but these are all like, solid basketball players. So I guess it gets a little hairy when you get a little deeper into the draft, but right now I'm rocking either way. I like it. I like it from what you guys are thinking and how you're portraying your picks.
Yeah,
I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
So
before you do that, Ron, we have 72 watching. We only have 32 likes. Come on, guys! It takes 1 second.
That's not gonna get it done, people. That's not gonna get it done, people. We love y'all. Show that love back.
So the 6th pick in the NBA draft, the Indiana Pacers are on the clock, and they take on my board Shaedon Sharpe.
Yeah.
Because they also, I think, want that dynamic type of guard. Because when you got Halliburton over there, one of the things I noticed when I watched Halliburton with the Pacers is that he was forced to be in a situation where he needed a mid-range game, and he don't really got one. Like, he got the 3-game going. He's a great facilitator, great court vision, but when it came time to get a bucket, when they were putting the pressure on him and moving him in, he was a little stuck.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you don't have a healthy 2 guard guess Buddy Hield was healthy, but it doesn't seem like he was playing and giving them much. I didn't see him out there a lot. And then obviously Brogdon was, been off and on, hurt at the point guard spot, so they go interchangeable there. They need someone to kind of ring the bell, answer the call, and they're not very athletic over there, if you ask me. And even with TJ Warren, that's another injury risk guy over there. Great scorer, but not athletic. So I think getting a guy like Shaedon Sharpe makes a lot of sense for them. Prophet went with Mr. Benedict Mathurin. Can't be mad at that pick either for Indiana. And D went with, Benedict Mathurin. So interesting. So Prof, why did you go with Benedict Mathurin to the Indiana Pacers?
Again, so they have a little guard thing going on there with Brogdon and Halliburton. But I think he has the size to play at that 3 and that 2 mix right there. And I think that's where they need some more production, but they also need that athleticism. I think they struggle in that area. And that athleticism is elite athleticism. So, I think this is an opportunity for them to fill that hole in that regard. I think he is not guard dependent in terms of his style of play. He can, he has the physicality to play that forward spot some, and then definitely compete at that spot. Overall, the skill, the skill is there, so that's not an issue. And I like the pick. Okay. Sounds good. D, why did you go with Benedict to the Indiana Pacers?
Yeah. For clear reasons. He's the best player available. And Indiana, they would have to. I don't know what they would be smoking if they would pass up on him. In that position, especially where your backcourt or your perimeter players are going to be Tyrese Halliburton, Benedict Mathurin if they draft him, right? And Chris Duarte. That's a very nice piece. And you still got Miles Turner there, right? Because I think they're gonna move off Brogdon, so I don't think he's gonna be there. So they'll still have Miles Turner. Um, what's his name? The kid from Kentucky, Isaiah Washington played well for him at the end of the season.
Oh, you mean is it Dwayne Washington or Isaiah Jackson? Which one?
Isaiah Jackson. There you go.
Okay, cool.
He played. Thank you, man. He played very well for them towards the end of the season, and that kid that they picked up for Phoenix too.
Jalen Smith,
you,
excellent. Yeah, they really did well at the forward spot.
Yeah. And so I just feel like with that team assembled that way, especially with guys coming off their bench, I feel they might be a formidable team next year. So you add Benedict to that I feel cultured under the right way. I think he has superstar elite potential. And I think Rick Carlisle will be very good for him there, especially that he's gone all in for a rebuild.
Yeah, and I just, piggybacking off of you, I just like that they mixed it up. They had been trying to build, with a little bit of youth, and the mix before that they had just wasn't getting it done. It kind of aged up a little bit. So I think this is kind of like a reset to the rebuild. And they've gotten athletic with Isaiah Jackson, supreme. Jalen Smith, supreme athletes, like really good athletes. And then you add Benedict, and you got something really nice foundationally. Halliburton's your steady and sound guy, I think. And I think like we were saying earlier, the shooting guard, small forward combination element that he has is going to work out well for them. I like Dwayne Washington quite a bit too. So,
Word.
Stone
okay.
that.
Okay. Listen, I'm not mad either way, man. Guys, I've grown to really like Jaden Ivey, but honestly, my favorite person in this draft that I would hope would fall to the Knicks, but he won't, would be Benedict Mathurin. So anything you got to say about Benedict Mathurin, it's okay with me. Shout out to It's Me. Appreciate you. Thank you for joining in and tuning into the show and always showing mad love and being in the chat. And also salute to my guy. I feel bad for him. He would love to be here, guys. He's working. John was supposed to be here. Jose would have been here. We would have been like the five amigos, not
Voltron.
the five.
Yeah.
All right. So that gets us to our next pick, and that is the Portland Trail Blazers at 7. And I got the Portland Trail Blazers taking Jalen Duren. So my whole thought process here is I think Portland is in that weird spot right now. They traded away a lot of their normal pieces that they have on the team. And they got rid of one of their biggest pieces in CJ McCollum. And they still kept Damian Lillard. You got guys like Josh Hart there. They got a couple young bigs that are decent, but they're not game changers. And my whole feeling is until they figure out what they're going to do, it'd be nice for them to get themselves possibly a dynamic big, someone like a Mitchell Robinson who has more of an offensive game, still a little raw, but who can grow into it, grow into his body, grow into the league. And I think Jalen Duren is that guy. So whether or not you decide to go for it and still build around Dame and try to make another run at it right away, or if you decide to rebuild, a guy like Jalen Duren fits really well with that team, if you ask me. So that's why I went with him. Prof, you went with Mr. AJ Griffin from Duke. I'm always going to shout out my Dukies. I'm a Duke, it's like my alma mater, even though I never went there. And then D went with, his guy, Johnny Davis, at 7. So let me see, Prof, why'd you go with AJ Griffin at 7 to Portland?
I'm not even gonna lie. Felt like I had to. The fit, it was him or Johnny Davis, and I just was unsure about him at the small forward spot because he's 6'5", but he's physical enough to play the small forward spots, and I don't think that's a question. I probably would have went Johnny Davis like D did, but you know, I guess I funked out. It's not like AJ Griffin's terrible. Don't get me wrong. It's just it was the choice that I felt needed to be made. Didn't want him to drop. So, you know.
Okay. I got you. D, why did you go with Johnny? I mean, I'm asking, but I mean, I know why you went with Johnny Davis. Okay, brother.
No, okay. So, I'm going to surprise y'all here. So, I went with Johnny because you know who he reminds me of? He reminds me of Brandon Roy.
And, we talked about that.
Yeah, and I just feel that he would like. First of all, Chauncey will love him. We'll probably kiss him and adopt him. And
right.
Bring him to holiday dinners and stuff. I think the same thing with Pop too, if he happens to be there. But my thing with Johnny, I've always said it like for like the 15th millionth time, is that he's right away. He's impactful right away on both sides. And he could play the three. And as you see, the NBA is getting shorter and shorter with these lineups, bro. So you don't have to worry about guys towering at 6'8", 6'9", 6'10" at that three like once before. So
it's true.
So I just feel like, you know, due to his killer instinct, due to his shot creation ability, due to him being the ultimate professional team type of guy, I don't think Chauncey and Cole would pass up on Johnny Davis at that 7. And also it depends too what's going to happen with Dame. What are they going to do with him? Like, you know, is he a part of like this like halfway rebuild? And I don't know. It looks shaky. From my perspectives, from my perspective, it looks like that they're going full rebuild, and I think they might deal Dame this offseason. So because I just don't see with the pieces they have there how they can build a championship team around Dame and didn't upgrade from the previous teams that they had earlier during their playoff run. So,
I'll say this. I've seen in the chat some people saying they think they're going to trade that number 7 pick. Mm-hmm. Have you guys been hearing about that?
Yeah, for Jeremy Grant.
Yeah, it's definitely a possibility because, like I said, you know, they're in that weird place. We don't know if they want to start the rebuild or they want to try one. You know, they got Dame, so they might want to go for it again.
Yeah. I think they looked like they were trying to piecemeal what they could use in terms of last year. Once Dame got hurt, Nurk was out. It was kind of like, well, who's somebody we can keep if we decide to stay competitive? And they were looking for young guys that I think could be functional for them.
Yeah, yeah, and another thing too that if they decide to like go in on Dame and try to build and bring in like a guy like Jeremy Grant, right? My question to them, well, what I would want to do is that I would have to authorize a piss test for, you know, their front office and stuff for thinking something like that, because you have the potential, you know, Benedict Mathurin could be there, like Johnny Davis could be there, right? Dyson Daniels can be there, and you're going to take Jeremy Grant over that younger potential, better elite talent. So
I would hope they don't trade it, you know.
Yeah, me either. I unless I have like a championship caliber type of team, I ain't trading draft picks, bro.
Ever. Yeah, I mean, they should definitely keep that pick unless they trade it to the Knicks.
And they might be better off. And I mean, please, you know, public, don't malign me for this, but just trade Dame. I think it's time.
Yeah.
I mean, that's so. It's like. It's not really a far-fetched idea. Either you try to put all the pieces around Dame once again and take your luck and see if you can hit gold and get back into the promised land, and then, you know, maybe luck will have it, something turns, or you make that one big trade and get rid of Dame, and then you can start retooling your team and building it up from scratch.
And there's tons of risk in not doing that now because, you know, one of the things I've always learned is players are like stock. So Dame's stock is relatively still high, but it's also has a big question mark now.
It's trajectory downward.
Yeah, it has a big question mark because we don't know how and it could, like you said, it could plummet really fast. So do you want to give people a chance to see if that stock's going to plummet, or are you going to play the game, hey, take it or leave it? This is a dream deal that you can get. It'll take you to the next level when you're selling, making that sale. So I think if it was me, I would start moving forward and selling. And think of one of these lottery teams that might have a need to maybe on the fence and might want to take a chance.
Yeah,
and that's who you target.
You guys brought up a great point about that. I forgot how you articulated it exactly, but it was something along the lines. Oh yeah, that's what you said. You said that you've done it with Dame already. Dame has been there, 8-9 years. You already know what it is, and you haven't been able to attract players. And I think with the new front office coming in, it looks like they want to go in a different direction, based on the guys that they did pick up. So, see what happens.
Yeah,
it's a good point. All right, so that brings us to our next pick on the clock is the New Orleans Pelicans at 8. And once again, guys, just to recap, I know some more people have joined. Definitely smash that like button, show your love and support. We appreciate y'all. We are just kind of really giving you more of an in-depth reasons to why we picked our picks through number 11 at the Knicks. And then we're going to kind of speed through the rest of our picks and then get into the actual consensus mock draft using the mock draft simulator from Fanspo. And that'll be pretty quick too. We talked about our consensus, so we already know what it is. We basically know who we're picking, where we're picking them. So, but thank you guys for tuning in and supporting as always. Smash that like button. All right. So, and you know what? While I take this time, I might as well shout out some more people that I saw join up. JW's in the building. Real King is here. Appreciate you. Bodega Wi-Fi is in the building. Shout out to Legion of Knicks podcast, my man Guillermo. He had a great show earlier. I saw that. I was at work and I needed something in the background between Freezy and Guillermo. They kept me busy. So shout out to you guys. If you haven't checked out Legion of Knicks podcast, definitely check them out. Guillermo always does fire content over there, especially during the season when he does watch-alongs and NCAA watch-alongs as well. So salute to him. All right. Now, let's get to that next pick, which is the New Orleans Pelicans at 8. And we've got, so for me, I went with Dyson Daniels. Prof went with Jaden Ivey at 8. He dropped them low. Low. and D went with Dyson Daniels at 8 as well. So I'll be brief because D can kind of explain his reasoning and take it from there. But I went with Dyson at this pick because I just looked at the Pelicans and I said, what could they use? And because of the fact that I think that CJ McCollum, even though he ran the point for them when he got there, I think he's more of a 2 guard to me. He's got the point guard skills, but I think he fits as a 2. I think he's a much better shooter in space. Give him his lane, let him do his thing. And if you can get yourself a dynamic point guard like Dyson Daniels could be, I think that would definitely help New Orleans with the combination of McCollum there, with Brandon Ingram, with the healthy Zion. And I don't know what's going to happen with Valanciunas, but whatever. They're cooking with gas over there with that mix. So I like it. Plus, you're getting other guys back. Who's the once again, I always forget his name. The guy who got hurt real fast. The short guy, the point guard.
Kara Lewis.
Kara Lewis Jr. Yes. So they could be a very interesting team next year. Remember, New Orleans kind of had a nice run towards the end of the season, getting into playoff time. So, with a couple different pieces, a healthy Zion, they could be a problem. Prof, why'd you go with Jaden Ivey?
Ivy.
First off, I don't know how you let him drop that far, but if New Orleans gets Jaden Ivey, whew,
yeah.
Agreed. I have questions about fit all the way down until there. I like him. I think he's a tremendous talent. I think that he fits a need that they have. It's almost a little bit resemblant of the, kind of that Dame, CJ McCollum thing. opportunity that was in Portland. So I'm a little scared of that, but I just can't see him dropping any farther. I mean, he's dropped a ton already in my book in this draft. So I like the talent, love the talent. Just think that it's the best available player on my board at that point. Again, I'm wondering, as I was thinking about this, I'm wondering if he can play, if McCollum might play at the point guard position and have Jaden at 2, or if they flip-flop that. I've just been intrigued by that a little bit, but I think it's effective and useful. I like the fit, and I like best overall talent at that point. And I know D has him at 2, and you have him at 5, but that's just what my gut told me. Drop to 8. Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
And if you remember in the first video, I had him 8th.
And
the best player available. So I could see your thinking, and I could see where teams can get scared with him. But supposedly he's had very good workouts. So,
I believe it. Yeah, I believe it. I have no doubt that he's working out well. Yeah. I just figured guard Portland, guard Indiana, Detroit with Cade. Do you want a smaller 2 guard than Cade? Keegan, guard in Houston, guard in Oklahoma City. You know what I'm saying? So, and he's not number 1. So that's
I got you. Okay.
Yeah, that's
so. Why did you go with Dyson Daniels at 8 for New Orleans, D?
Yeah, no doubt. Well, you alluded to some of the points, and I think the big thing with the Pelicans is that they had a great year last year, right? The roster's really starting to fill out a bit. Zion's going to be coming back. Brandon Ingram ascended his game last year, right? What was the one thing? And they picked up CJ McCollum, right? What was the one thing missing? Point guard. Why would you not take a guy 6'8" with a 6'10" wingspan, 6'11" wingspan, right? Can advance reads, has elite court vision. It would not make sense to me for them to go another direction, especially knowing that in the depth chart they really need that point guard position to be addressed, and there isn't a lot of point guards in this draft. So why would you not take that swing with Dyson? Especially, I think Willie Green is a fantastic coach, and I think he will be one for a very long time to come. And if he had Jose Alvarado playing like the way he did, Dyson is going to be in paradise, bro.
Yeah. So, that's a good point. I like that.
So I just think Dyson fits very well, and I think both sides will be very happy.
Okay, I can rock with that. Let's see what else we got here. Salute and shout out to Infamous New King. Thank you, as always, for tuning in. Kaiser Soze is in the building. And Brooklyn Buddha. I don't know if I mentioned you earlier, but if I did, I'm going to give you a shout out again. Brooklyn Buddha's here. Appreciate you. So that brings us to the 9th pick with the San Antonio Spurs. And I know I went with Jeremy Sohan because I just think Jeremy Sohan is a Popovich type guy. If I don't know if that's what San Antonio feels they need right now, but if you just look at their roster construction and kind of what they did last year with Joshua Primo, and then just the pieces that they have already with the DeJounte Murray, it just seems like the guard area is pretty solid for them. They couldn't possibly use a really good shooting guard prospect. So I could see them going that way too. But I think, for traditional Popovich, Jeremy Sohan added to that defense that they've got, because they do have some players who play really good individual defense. I think that takes their defense into like a Detroit Piston of back in the day type defense. I think they could get crazy with it. So that's why I went with him there. Prof went with Mr. Ousmane Dieng, and I could see that happening too. That's not a bad choice there. And my man D went with now. See, this is where it's crazy because you look at how D picked his picks are different, so he's got different players on the board. But if San Antonio can get Shade and Sharp at this spot, I mean, come on, this is interesting. So, Prof, why did you go with Usman Jang?
Now that I think about it, still love the pick. Definitely like Jang. Like the length, the projectability, shootability, passing, just a really versatile kind of Popovich type of player. But a lot of perimeter talent. But even now, I'm starting to think he's so young, he could fill out really well and be a power forward, small forward, tweener type guy. His knock for me is he's a little soft, not a little soft, actually, a lot of soft. And I think that he'll grow in that area because he's been exposed to a physical league. It's just a question of now, how's he going to fill out, and then how's he going to find what he does well in the pro game with the body type that he has, and then also the body type that he feels he can grow into. But when it comes to Pop, I kind of like this type of guy because it's a team guy. It's not necessarily a volume guy, but it's a guy that has length, lots of little things that can help the team. And if he grows into the best version of himself, he could be a guy they can depend on, and I like that type of guy for, the Spurs concept and the culture that they have there.
Okay, that makes sense. Before I go over to D, just quick shout out to my man Jarvis LaFleur is in the building. Francisco Carrillo is here. Salute, appreciate you. And my guy Pete Panagiotopoulos is in the building. What's going on, Pete? So D, why did you go with Shaedon Sharpe here at 9 to the San Antonio Spurs?
I got you. So before I do that, we got 114 watching right now with 58 likes. Let's get those likes up, guys, please. Let's see. So there's my thing. Pop ain't gonna be around too much longer. And I don't think, especially at that position. And it's funny because when I did this, I looked at reports later on and stuff like that. And I realized that there are a lot of guys that also agreed that based on with the workouts and stuff like that, he has slipped to like 8, 9, 10, 11, that area. So I thought that was kind of interesting that I did that. But I like him there because I think he has serious motor issues. I think he has an on and off switch. Which, for me personally, if I was blessed with that physical talent that he has, with that wingspan and that vertical, I ain't taking that junk for granted. So I think the Spurs are a very good organization to teach him how to constantly have that on switch on. You see? Because that culture has been there for over 2 decades, bro. So they definitely know what type of guys they want. They haven't had something like this with this potential elite talent come their way in quite a while. And I don't think they're going to pass it up if he's available there. And especially that they, I understand they drafted, what's his name? Oh, man, what's that kid's name?
Primo?
No.
Lonnie Walker?
The year before Primo.
Vassell,
Devin Vassell, thank you. See, like, Vassell, he's a good player. He's an NBA player. Man, he ain't got nowhere near the upside of Shady or Sharp, bro. So I think they swing on this. And especially you could plug him in at the 2 and the 3 and stuff like that. I feel like there's a lot of room for them to really make room for him. And as you see with DeJounte Murray, it took DeJounte 3 or 4 years. You see? So that tells me they have no problem being patient whatsoever. Okay?
Right. That's why I like Zhang.
No, I hear you. He's a good pickup for them too, and he fits their international track record, and he could read the floor very well and stuff like that. So he fits a lot of things. Yeah. But I mean, of course, we went in different paths and stuff like that. So our journeys are going to be at different locations.
Yeah.
Right.
But
I like that Shaedon. If you can get him there, and you made a good point, like to think they haven't had a guy with that type of upside in the longest time.
Well, they thought they did, but it wasn't true. At least it hasn't panned out that way. They thought they had that in kind of like an Lonnie Walker.
Well, they did it then. So I like Shaedon though. I like him at that spot if he's there. I just think it's too much of a tease to expect him to drop that far. I don't know if anyone can say, hey, I'm not going to draft him if he's there earlier than that. Like, I think the Pels want him. If he's there, the Pels are going to take talent over fit. Portland, if he's there, they're going to take talent over fit. Pacers, if he's there, they're going to take talent over fit. Just my thought, you know?
No, and you're right.
Yeah.
My thing is that I just think that they have certain pieces in place that they don't have to do that. They need to start building guys around those pieces that they already have.
Can't argue that, 100%.
Yeah, right. I mean, and it depends on the circumstances stuff. We're actually both right, you know, but it just depends on the circumstances scenario at hand.
Yeah.
Right. Let me before I get to the next pick with the number 10, let me just once again give a quick shout out to my man C_Mac CAA affiliate in the building. What's going on, brother? Appreciate you. And I want to do this real quick, give a special shout out to my guy Albert Friganal, big Kai Soto guy, and Adrian Lagura, another big Kai Soto guy. I'm just gonna, or Kai Sato, I like to say that. I just want to give you guys a heads up. You know, of course, I love to have you guys as viewers to watch the show. I hope you stay, and I hope you want to watch. I hope you like the product that we're putting out, but I also don't want to disappoint you guys. This mock draft situation is only going to be for the first round, 1 through 30.
Yep.
Even when we get to the consensus simulator, it's 1 through 30. And I just want to be honest with you guys. As much as I feel like Kai Sato will get drafted, I don't think he'll get drafted into the second round. And I don't think any of us feel that way. So if you're interested in rocking with us, definitely you're welcome to be here. We appreciate you. We love you being here. But if you're looking to hear us get into Kai Sato, it's not going to happen because we're only doing the first round. Just want to give you guys a heads up. I don't want to waste your time. All right. So with the 10th pick, the Washington Wizards, according to Ron, take Benedict Mathurin. They should only be so lucky to get Benedict Mathurin at 10. They should be so lucky. A gift I'm giving. A gift, I say. There's nothing I really got to say about Benedict Mathurin. We kind of already touched on it earlier. He, to me, would be my favorite pick at the guard position. As much as and you know, don't get me wrong. Like, I swear, the closer we get to this draft, Ivy is really starting to move up. You know, like I'm liking his game, his makeup, the way he's handling himself in these interviews, the way he sees his game. I love how he you know, when they broke down game tape with him, how he looked at his faults. And, so I'm starting to really like Ivy, but Benedict Mathurin is still my guy. So I've got him going to the Wizards. Prof has Dyson Daniels going to the Wizards at 10, and D has AJ Griffin going to the Wizards at 10. So, Prof, why did you have Dyson Daniels going to the Wizards?
Let's go through the Wizards depth chart at point guard. This is very exciting now. Satoransky, the starter.
I love Satoransky. I put that on my sandwiches and my salads. Continue.
I'll get you a T-shirt.
Ish Smith, second on the depth chart, and Raul Neto. Now, tell me why you don't pick Dyson Daniels.
I mean, if he's there,
you got to do it.
Yeah, you have to. So, really important here, to be honest, you don't need to start him away unless he shows he's the best point guard on the roster. Definitely has the talent to be the best point guard on the roster, but he may need a little chance to get his feet wet. Therefore, you have a guy like a Ish, maybe they'll play first 15, 20 games or something, and then obviously Dyson's the best, and they slide in. He slides into that starting spot. I just think it's a great talent. I wouldn't let him drop any further. I think he's got such immense two-way potential at that point guard spot. With that length, that vision, that feel at a young age. And I do think, experience has to be added to him. He's going to have to make some mistakes at that highest level first before I think he can reach his potential. But I think he has all the components to be a really good point guard, particularly a two-way point guard, in my opinion. which is really valuable, especially to Washington. They need two-way players because they are not a two-way team at all. So I think he's just a spectacular fit for them, and they need to go in that direction of getting another guard. And even what's going to happen a lot of times, like regardless of the Beal situation, Dyson he has a scoring side to him, so he can alleviate some of that strain when that transition occurs, if it does occur. So just that's why I like the Dyson pick.
Okay. My man D, why did you go with AJ Griffin at the 10th pick to the Washington Wizards?
Well, first off, I mean, you guys are wholly correct. If Benedict is there, Washington would have to suffer from mental retardation not to take Benedict Mathurin.
Right.
And you're exactly right, Prof. Washington has no. I think it's Satoransky and Neto, right, as their dynamic 1-2 punch. So you're on mute, brother.
They would be screaming for that.
Sorry, but yeah, they have them all. I like Neto a little bit, you know.
Yeah, but come on, man.
I like the guy. I just saying I like the guy.
But you're right. And the fact that Dice is there, you got to take him.
Yeah,
at a heartbeat. I went with AJ because they picked up Corey Kispert last year.
Mm-hmm.
And I think AJ Griffin is a better version of Corey Kispert, where he could stretch the floor, right? He could shoot off the move. He could shoot at the catch and shoot. He could shoot in the dribble pull-up. They're both not great perimeter defenders. And he has more of an athletic upside. And he's a lot longer. And he's a lot bigger. And, I mean, his numbers, shooting-wise, were astronomical. And especially that he had to change his game. Because the way he played in Duke was not how he was playing in high school. And right. Sherman would tell you that because he said he's seen him play like 100 times. So, you know, so I feel like that's a really good place. If Dyson's gone, of course, that's a really good pick for them. And that will bring some efficiency to that team that they haven't had. And especially if you stack them up with a Kuzma and Porzingis. And if Beal comes back and stuff like that, I could really see him, you know, punching some dudes in the mouth. The only question would be, you know, what did he do with Kispert? What did he do with Denny Avdija? I don't think they care.
Avdija.
Yeah.
My bad.
You're right.
Thank you. You know how I get about those names.
No. I appreciate it because I forget the pronunciations and stuff. But, you know, he was picked 9th. A couple years back. I think it was in the Obi draft. He was picked 9th. And he hasn't panned out. And it is crazy because he has a lot of skills too. But
I think the trajectory of Avia was a little bit higher than – it was a little unrealistic. I think he's a solid player, and I think that's all he ever was going to be. You know, I guess maybe they thought he would be better than that. They must have, right? To pick him at 9, they must have.
Well,
right?
I saw him play a mess overseas, and he looked great. And the way he played overseas is not how he's playing here.
Oh,
so it could be like a fit thing, and
he's also gotten a little bit bulky.
Yeah,
I feel like he's lost some of his mobility. He's not the same athlete. I think he's a different type of athlete now. I think
and he never strengthened his ball handle in 3 years.
No.
Which was gigantic for him to do. So
yes.
So that's why I think they might go like an AJ Griffin route where he has potential in all those things. You know, being an outstanding shooter, putting the ball on the floor. Yeah. You know, if he ever gets back some of that explosion he had, it's a very good pick for the Wizards. So, especially with the lack of point guards, available, I would see him doing that.
Yeah. And great point here. I think, like you said, he never strengthened his ball handling. You get into a point now in the draft where the shore things are disappearing. So you might see trades start to come by, around at a good point. Around 11, our level of detail may, wane off. And part of that reason might be because some of the shore bets are now in unclear situations. Like, these moving forward, what the guys that we think talent-wise can fit, but the situations may not allow them to get our peak return on investment, a team's peak return on investment, what we think they can get. So just something to keep in mind as we keep going through this mock draft, I think. For everyone, like now's the point where it starts to become a fit thing to some degree, more fit than overall talent.
Right. Agreed. Yeah. So here we are, people. To that 11th pick, the New York Knicks. And before I put this up, right, let me say this. Let me say this because I my man Jarvis. Jarvis said, Ron, salute my brother. You are my guy, but you are not about to tease me like this. If you put Mathurin at number 10,
man,
you may as well put him at 11.
Came right for you, Ron. Came right at you, yo, Jarvis.
Let me tell you how hard it was for me to give the Wizards Mathurin when I know we pick 11. I was dying. I was like, it's up to me. I got the power, but I just couldn't do it, dude. I cannot see Mathurin being on the board right before us and them not taking him. And that just makes sense. That's always the Knicks' luck. Anybody we want, they always get taken one pick before us. So it's just how the course of things work, man. I hate it though, but yeah. Let me see here. Okay, all right. So that is what it is, guys. We just had to deal with that. Unfortunately, it's how the cookie crumbles.
I'll die laughing if that happens.
Oh man, I'll be so pissed. Here we go, guys. This is 11 through 20. And as I said, we're going to give you this is our last in-depth explanation about the 11th pick with the Knicks. And then I want to try to breeze through these because I want to get to the consensus. And then we also want to talk about a little something else right after that. So with the 11th pick, oh boy, Ron picks Johnny Davis at number 11 for the New York Knicks.
And D is happy.
Oh, man. Prophet picks Jalen Duren at number 11 for the New York Knicks. And D picks Tara Eason at number 11 for the New York Knicks. So I can tell you guys right now, and I know I'm looks like I'm fighting an uphill battle. I'm surprised at how many people are not in love with Johnny Davis for what he brings. I know when they look at him, because of the fact that he's not a great three-point shooter. When you got a guy who's a shooter, but the three-point shot has not been where he has excelled, that doesn't mean he can't be better at the three-point shot. Doesn't mean he won't be. When you're a good shooter, you can learn to expand your range. To me, it's only a range issue with Johnny Davis. But this is my takes. Now, D loves Johnny Davis for other reasons. He's watched him intently. He's broken down the whole game, all that. I don't have that same type of passion, nor the watch hours. But what I can tell you is the guy, first off, let's think about it. We're all Knicks fans for the most part. You know what the Knicks have been lacking. The guy plays great defense. The guy rebounded about 8.5 rebounds in college. That means he's a good rebounder for his position. I don't care if you come to the NBA. If he's rebounding 8.5 rebounds in college, he's going to rebound well in the NBA at his position. Okay? The guy is he's a lockdown defender, as I already mentioned. He's a knockdown mid-range shooter. The guy's got a sweet stroke from the mid-range. You can't knock that. And he can get to the basket. One of the weaknesses that I said with him is the fact that he just doesn't get to the basket as much as he could, because he can get to the basket and he can score. His percentage was like 20% of his shots were at the rim. So he just doesn't do it a lot. That was just to me, all that tells me, once again, pointing to what D has said in the past, Johnny Davis gets double teamed a lot. In fact, his numbers are so high. He's one of the most double teamed. He was one of the most double teamed players in the NCAA. So if you think about that, and if hopefully you put him on the Knicks in a situation where you got other weapons, so he can't be double teamed as much, he can probably go to town. So that's why I like him for that pick. Prof, why do you like Jalen Duren at number 11 for the New York Knicks?
And I think a few people referenced it. And I'll be honest, I like Mark Williams on the flip too. So I know a lot of people said they like Mark Williams to the Knicks. I like that too. Just in the moment, I chose Durant, but you really could choose either one. I like Durant's youth. I like his wingspan. I like so many different aspects about him. And overall, I think will help the Knicks. I still think he's growing his game. So who knows what aspects of his game could actually start to grow a little bit more. So I like him with the projectability for the long term. So and the youth element. So
yeah.
Right. Okay.
You know, Ron, you forgot something about Johnny where, you know, a lot of people critique him about his shooting and stuff like that, right? And his low percentages. But on catch and shoot in the half court, he shot 39%, and wide open, he shot 46.
Mm-hmm.
So when he was a double and triple team, shots were going in. And, you know, I still hear this thing about him not being athletic. That just totally blows my mind away. I would love for him to be on the Knicks. I just don't think he's going to be there. But
yeah.
And with Jalen Duren, Jalen has a high ceiling. He's very young. He's a rim protector. He runs the floor well. He has glimpses of having like a very nice offensive package. My worry with him going to the Knicks is that we don't have proper perimeter play from our guards and wings that are able to really showcase what Jalen Duren could be. And if you just want to ask, you can ask Mitch, you can ask Sims, you can ask Noel, because that trio, and Taj, that trio had the lowest ball percentage for a trio of centers in the league last year. And a part of that had to do with them not being able to get the ball to the bigs when needed. And we saw it a million times this year. So that's my concern about primarily taking a setter. I still think other pieces have to come into play first before you shoot for that high. See, like if OKC had that 11, I would totally get them getting Mark Williams or Jalen Duren because they're established, you know, on the perimeter with their wing players and stuff of that nature. So, so I see where you guys are coming at. But I went with Tyree because he, like I said before, he's just New York nasty.
yeah, I love him. I love
You
him.
know, New York would love him. His effort, his defensive versatility. Like I said, he's raw. And he shot 37% from three and shot almost 80% from the free throw line. And he's raw. Okay. And he has like an old school type of game. Like, you know, he only dribbles one-handed. Reminded me of Dominique Wilkins. I was watching one of the 80s All-Star games, and I saw Dominique dribble, and I said, wow, that looks just like Tyree Eason. So it kind of reminded me of that. And he has like those little pushers, push shots and floaters in the lane and stuff like that. And he's dynamic in transition. He was like, I think he was like top 10, top 15 and points in the transition and points per possession. So, like, dude, he's dynamic. And he would start day one. And he can guard anybody on the basketball court. And I think in a couple of years, he'll be able to guard the small ball five. I think he's that talented defensively. And I just think he's a pit bull. And I think New York will love him.
I want to throw something in here. Ask me how old Jalen Duren is.
How old is he?
He just had his 18th birthday, didn't he?
He's going to turn 19.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. So like as D likes to say, he's a young puppy.
Yes, but he's a puppy that doesn't look like a puppy. He looked like a pit bull.
Yeah, he looked like a that's a fact.
All right.
There you go.
And so that's something to think about because this is a young man that can compete physically right now off the bat, just like that. Now, obviously, there's got to be some growth, in his game. He's probably going to find himself in foul trouble because of experience. But to think about that condor element that he has, 7'5" wingspan, he's a pretty imposing presence physically. So I think that's something to take into consideration. I know Mitchell had that, but I don't think Mitchell had near the bulk that this guy's got. He didn't have near the bulk that Durant has, and I think that makes all the difference in the world. All the difference in the world, especially in this city. So,
yeah.
Okay. I mean that makes sense. I understand that. All right, guys. So that was our 1 through 11. I'm gonna try to get through the next picks pretty quickly. Obviously, guys, Prof and D, if there's anybody that you want to elaborate on, feel free to stop me if you feel like you want to do justice to somebody. But
we'll keep it short and sweet, though.
Shout out to Mark Williams. Next pick for everybody.
Before I do that, let me give a shout out to once again, appreciate you guys tuning in. L Servy's in the building. Ad College FM Stations is here. Salute, what's going on? E Gibson is here. KJW, my man KJW is here. KJW Events. You can find him chopping it up on Real Talk, with my man Divine and Shaw Powers be over there. They definitely be talking Nick talk. So that's another great bunch of content creators right there. My man Divine, Shaw Powers, and KJW on Real Talk, the Knicks. So definitely check them out. Quality Jumpers in the building. Hewlett Samuel is in the building. And also Alfie from the Philippines is here. And Kolakute May is in the building. I don't know if I said that right, but hey, whatever. I hope I did.
Right, you crushed it, yo. Good stuff.
From the Philippines is also here. So appreciate y'all. All right.
Yep.
Now let me get and Juvich Luha is here. Also a big Kai Soto fan. Also Caesar Bagsick is here in the building. Another Kai Soto fan. Okay. Yeah. Kai Soto's fans are in the building, folks. Once again, guys, man, if you weren't here before, I'm just letting you guys know we're going through the first round. We personally don't have Kai getting picked in the first round. It's not saying he won't get picked in the first round, because there's definitely some people who think he might. Sherwin M made a great point. He said that the San Antonio Spurs have 3 first-round picks, and they definitely might consider taking a guy like Kai because they like, foreign players, and they could use bigs. So, why not? So, okay, shout out to you, Sherwin M. All right, guys. CJ Labusta and Jams Cabrera are here. Oh, man, the Filipinos are in the building. Stand up. Ball fire, rhythm beats. Bo, bo, bo. I know that's not a Filipino thing, but that's my thing. All right, so at the 12th pick, we have on the clock the Oklahoma City Thunder. And oddly enough, now this is funny, guys, because we all picked these individually, yet somehow we all got Mark Williams going to OKC. Isn't that crazy? Yeah, it's nuts. So
that's the only time it happened, too.
I know. It's nuts. It's wild. And Mark Williams is obviously nice, skilled big man player from Duke. So we could see that being a good fit over there. With the 13th pick going to the Charlotte Hornets, let me do this. I've got AJ Griffin going to them. I cannot believe he's still on the board, but Prof has Johnny Davis going to the Charlotte Hornets, which would make me sick. I don't want to see that. And then D has Jalen Duren going to Charlotte. They would definitely like a guy like that in that position.
They need a guy like that. So does OKC. They need a Mark Williams. So
right.
Yep.
With the 14th pick, the Cleveland Cavaliers select on Ron's board Malachi Branham. I just think that he's a good fit for them. Yep. They need some more shooting over there, some more scoring outside of Trey, and some inconsistent players. Prophet took Oche Agbaji.
It's Cleveland, Ron, not the Hawks.
Oh, wait, what did I say? Oh, I
apologize. I meant the
Cavaliers. My fault. I meant the Cavaliers. Yeah, I could actually, that makes a better fit. That's why I picked them there. Because, because they really could use that shooting from the shooting guard position. Yeah, I mean, they have such a dynamic point guard right now. And with the bigs they got on the team, the young bigs, I think that makes a lot of sense. Malachi would be great to Cleveland. Agbaji is Prof's pick to Cleveland, and also Agbaji is D's pick to Cleveland.
And for all the reasons because of your Braham.
Right. Same difference. Right. I mean, it's just all about who's just the person that works for them at the time. But I think that's both two good picks for them. Mm-hmm. And then we got at the 15th pick, because Charlotte has 13 and 15. They're back on the clock. I've got them taking Christian Coloco because I just think that they need somebody who would be a good big over there. I think they got some question marks over there with who they're rolling out. So that makes sense to me. Prof picked Jeremy Sohan, and D picked Jeremy Sohan.
Run and jump big. Yeah, run and jump big. They need that. I think PJ's not going to get that done for them. So
yeah, and they need bigs and they need fours. Yeah. So I thought that's what they would address with those two picks.
Yep. Same.
Makes sense. Excuse me. With the 16th pick in the NBA draft, the Atlanta Hawks on the board, and I had them taking No, I didn't. I had them taking Agbaji. I apologize. Agbaji, because I think, if Agbaji is on the board, that points to the whole thing that I said before, that if they could get a guy who can score, inside, outside, good free throw shooter, good defender, Atlanta, loves those type of guys that can be a two-way type player. But I think part of the problem that they don't have, I think they lack that dynamic scoring. As much as I like Kevin Huerter, and I think Bogdanovich is a good player, I think that they need another fit, and he's a proven. I mean, at least he's shown that they won a national championship. He's a winner, and I think they need some winners over there. Prof picked, Tara Eason at his pick for Atlanta, which it's not a bad pick, and then D picked Ousmane Dieng. Look at you. Can't go wrong with these picks, man.
Yeah, I went with Jiang, because they're in dire need of a secondary playmaker for Trey, and I think one of the things that came out of last year in their early first round exit was that Trey can't do it all by himself at 6'1". Mm-hmm. And he's gonna have to acquiesce some of that damn ball usage percentage, and they're gonna need another playmaker, and him being 6'10". Atlanta has developed well with John Collins and Trae Young and Hunter. They did fail with Reddish, but they do have more hits than misses. I feel like Jiang would be a project, and I think he'll be in the right place there, especially that they need that.
I can see that. At 17, we've got the Houston Rockets back on the board, and I gave them Ty Washington because, quite frankly, I think they could use another point guard over there. Porter Jr. is a really good player for them. He's very dynamic. He can do a bunch of different things on the court, but there's a lot going on with Porter Jr. So, I don't know if that's going to be a match made in heaven. And it would be nice to have a guy like Ty over there. He definitely could give them something, that they've been missing, or expand on what they already have. Prof went with Malachi Branham, which is a nice pick, interesting pick for them over there. And D went with Jalen Williams from Santa Clara. I want to preface that because there's two Jalen Williams. This is the one from Santa Clara, the 6'6" point guard.
I like D's pick. Just want to say that. Put that out there.
Thank you, sir.
So at the 18th pick on the board is the Chicago Bulls. And I like D's pick from Santa Clara, Jalen Williams as well. I like them so much that I picked them at 18 for the Chicago Bulls, because I think he gives them kind of similar to what they've been experiencing. And if they lose Zach LaVine, if they lose Zach LaVine, then he's a nice person to kind of help carry that load that you're going to be missing. You're not going to get a Zach LaVine out of him right away. He could turn into something special, but he's not Zach LaVine. So, but that's a nice That's a nice fit for them. And if they keep Zach LaVine, even better. Nice guy to bring off the bench. Prof went with Jalen Williams as well from Santa Clara at 18. And D went with, man, I can't be mad at that pick. Dalen Terry at 18 to the Bulls. I do not want Dalen Terry on the Bulls. That's the hater in me. I'm sorry. Okay.
Just real quick, my thinking on that was that Zach LaVine might not come back.
Right.
And what better than to bring in a 20-year-old Dalen Terry that is a Swiss Army knife that could possibly score at 3 levels and has elite court vision. I think with that roster, they would be in paradise having Dalen Terry on their team.
Yeah, no, I mean, that makes sense. I agree with that. I hear you wholeheartedly that, listen, I mean, the guy he could be a really special talent, and teams, when you get into that point, that's when it's like, oh, I want my guy, I'm going to go get him. I don't care what pick it is. He's here. Okay, so then that brings us to number 19. Minnesota's on the clock. And with Minnesota's pick, I had them picking E.J. Liddell. I just think they could use another big. E.J. Liddell's a physical big, and he can shoot. He gives them kind of a little bit more of that scoring option that they could use if they decide to keep D'Lo and Anthony Edwards and Cat together. He's another piece that might help them because you can never not have enough talent on the team. Prof went with Ty Washington to Minnesota, and D went with, is that Malachi Branham? Yes, it is.
It's Malachi Branham.
Malachi Branham to Minnesota. Okay. With the 20th pick, San Antonio's back on the clock, and I went with Walker Kessler to San Antonio. If you look at Walker Kessler's game, good shot blocker. I mean, averages almost 5 shot blocks a game, 4.5.
Brasil.
Yeah, I could see San Antonio loving what he would bring to that team, and they like those type of bigs. You know what I mean? And then Prof went with Dalen Terry. Dalen Terry on San Antonio. Although, I don't know.
I like him because
may not be happy about it.
I like him because he's a DeJounte clone. I like that.
Okay.
I think he can give them that second opportunity to have a guy to facilitate, and just is a real natural on both ends of the floor. So
okay. And then D went with Jake LaRavia at 20 to San Antonio.
Yeah, Papa will love him. He'll adopt him to the family.
Yeah, I think he would too. Yeah, that's he's a good player. All right, so that's our 11 through 20. Let me get that up out of here. Let's get to the next one. Dude, 21 through 30, folks. And this kicks off with Denver at the 21st pick. And Denver on my board is taking Nikola Jovic so that he can be with his favorite player, Jokic. Jovic and the Joker on the same team. And then Prophet has Jake LaRavia going at 21 to Denver. And then D had Ty Washington going to Denver at 21. With the
they need 20s, a point guard desperately.
Yeah, no, they do. Then that's a really smart. It's one of those where my pick of Jovic going to them is not the best fit, but I think it's something I could see them doing just because of the connection of how much this guy loves the Joker and would love to be on that team, and that's his like idol. And I think they value his skill set, but they would definitely need to fill that point guard position. They need some help there. With the 22nd pick, the Memphis Grizzlies are on the clock, and I have them taking Jaden Hardy, should I say? And Prophet also had them taking Jaden Hardy, and D had them taking Nikola Jovic. So, I'm not mad at that either. Like, I could see that happening as well.
Yeah, I could see him doing that because Jaren Jackson worked very well at the 5, and Adam started looking like a dinosaur out there. So with the present NBA, so I think they go big, they go skilled, and they go a guy that can stretch the floor.
Right. Yeah. And so that brings us to the 23rd pick. That's the Philadelphia 76ers. And if the Knicks, unfortunately, I hope that's not the case, but if the Knicks aren't able to pull off anything and they start messing with trade down possibilities, or if they stand pat and try to get another trade in this draft somehow, 23 is a possibility. They've been talking about it. I don't know if it's any truth to it, but this pick could be a Knick pick, possibly. You never know. But anyway, Philadelphia at 23. I had them taking Tara Eason. I know some people are like, wow, Tara Eason's still on the board. Yeah, man. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. Well, on my board, he's still there. Prophet had them taking Nikola Jovic, and D had them taking EJ Liddell here.
Oh, yeah.
I like the talent there for Philly, Jovic.
Yeah,
they can project on that and sit on that one.
I think they could definitely use that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, especially that this guy, what's his name? He has the big contract. Tobias Harris. Well, especially
Long
Tobias.
Zone,
I think they're looking to replace that.
They should. They should.
And that's why we all had similar thinkings, position wise. We just had different guys.
Right. That makes a good point. All right. So, and then that brings us to the next pick, which is the Milwaukee Bucks at 24. I had them taking Ousmane Dieng. I mean, you put Ousmane Dieng on Milwaukee?
Jeez, that's late.
I know it's late, but look how it looks. Ooh-wee.
Nice fit. It's a nice fit.
Yeah, it's not bad. And then you got EJ Liddell going to Milwaukee. Prof has EJ Liddell going to Milwaukee at 24. And B has Marjan Beauchamp or Beauchamp, however you want to say it. However, I don't know exactly how to say it.
Beauchamp.
Oh, yeah. Beauchamp.
I just pictured him and Giannis on the floor at the same time.
There's length everywhere.
Yeah, I mean that would be like, I don't know, all those picks going to, I don't know, the EJ Liddell one, maybe, I don't know if I see it as much, but the Beauchamp and Dieng, I don't know.
Well, Liddell I like for the physicality element and then the weak side defense.
And he could stretch the floor.
Well, yeah, I keep forgetting that. That's a good point.
And here's another thing with Beauchamp too. What my thinking was that Middleton went down last year, right? And just in case that, because it could happen to Giannis too. So like if something happens like that, they have backup with for the first year, second round guy, and we know Milwaukee develops well. And
I like that. I like that fit. I almost would tandem him with Nora, so you can have a combination of offense, defense. To maybe cover up that Middleton hole just in case. Beauchamp has the potential offensively, so I mean it's not like he can't score or get a bucket. But I think that's a really good combination at that spot to have Beauchamp. Like when coaches go offense to defense, they say I will get Beauchamp when I go defense and Noora when I go offense. It makes you pretty potent. So I like that mix for those two. So I like that Milwaukee Beauchamp pick. That's pretty solid.
Appreciate it.
Good point. All right, so that brings us to the 25th pick. San Antonio's back on the clock because they had 3 picks in the first round. This is the third. And I had them taking Mr. Jake LaRavia because I just, feel like, Pop would love this guy, as D said before when he gave him to him with an earlier pick. Here, Prophet has Marjan Beauchamp going to them. And D had Christian Koloko. Okay, I can see that as well. Yeah.
And on my board, for example, they already took Johnny and they took Lavaria, right? So I thought they need a big badly, and that was my thinking with Koloko, and I think Pop will love him. He fits a lot of their schemes and stuff like that. So,
and let me tell you something: if in the end Pop winds up with those 3 picks, I think he'll be happy. Or even the 3 picks that Prof said, or the 3 picks Like for whatever reason, when you give Pop different variations of talent, he just makes it great. I don't know. He makes it work. So with the 26th pick, the Houston Rockets are back on the clock. I had them going with my man Ismail Kamagate. Prof went with Walker Kessler, and then D went with Kennedy Chandler. Okay.
Love Kennedy Chandler. Just putting that out there. Sorry.
I was waiting for you to say something.
And Houston desperately needs a point guard. They
Yes.
can't rock with Kevin Porter Jr. at the point guard for the rest of their life. So
that is very true. Very true. And so with the 27th pick, the Miami Heat are finally on the clock. And I said that I think they would go with Travion Williams. Prophet said that he thinks Kennedy Chandler would work for them. And
Lowry replacement. Just got to put that out there.
Okay. And actually, you know what?
Really good athleticism.
I fought him on this, but when I think about it, if Lowry's not there, Kennedy Chandler is a nice replacement for him. I think he gives them something, with what they already got over there. I think they could use him. And then D went with Christian Braun at 27 to the Miami Heat.
Yeah, man, he's a Miami Spoelstra Riley type of guy. They would love him.
I think he gets better if he goes to Miami. He becomes a better player than he might be anywhere else.
That might be true. I could see that. With the 28th pick in the draft, the world champion Golden State Warriors select on my board Jalen Williams, and this is the other Jalen Williams, not Santa Clara Jalen Williams. And Prophet actually picked Jalen Williams to go to them as well. And this is where D went with Ismail Kamagate. And I think the reasons for myself and Prophet picking Jalen and the reason for Kamagate being picked by D was the same reasons because of what Golden State could use.
Yeah.
I'll tell you now with Jalen, I went with imagine Draymond was more athletic, could shoot the three ball, potentially shoot the three ball, and just add those two to Draymond, and you'll have Jalen. Jalen is continuing to get better every single time he steps on the floor. So, for a team like that to add a guy with that type of projectability, but functionality right away is what's really special, because they have guys that are projects, but they don't have a lot of projects that can play now and help them. So that's a guy that can help them now immediately in some ways, in some shapes and forms, especially because of their needs at a position he's playing around that 5'4". So.
Yeah, it's good thinking. And I remember in the last video, I think it was part 2, I had Jalen over Kamagati. But the reason why I took Kamagati first over Jalen was because Golden State, is with OKC and Memphis and their development staff. And Kamagati's more of a project than Jalen is, but with a higher upside. And I can see them, especially what they want to see what happened with Wiseman this year and stuff like that, and see where that goes. They have a full year to really have Kamagati playing with Moody, playing with Kuminga and stuff like that. And I really feel they could build something with that there. And if they pick Jalen, that would be fantastic too, because, he would just be another playmaker for them on the court. And especially if he could hit the three with some regularity, he would really be a big pickup for them.
Makes sense. All right. So that brings us to the 29th pick in the draft. The Memphis Grizzlies are back on the clock. I had Memphis taking Marjan Beauchamp. Prophet had them taking Ryan Rollins. This is a new person to the mix that we haven't really heard mentioned yet. And D also had Ryan Rollins to them.
Rollins is a steal there, so
yeah. That's a good value pick.
Yep.
And then with the last pick in the 2022 NBA draft, the Denver Nuggets select. I'm giving them gifts. I gave them Dalen Terry with the 30th pick.
What? Just to correct it, I think that is OKC's 30th pick, but I think it was a Nuggets pick. So maybe they didn't translate it or something like that.
I think you are right. That's right, because I think it was originally the Nuggets pick, and that's why they were. Good point. Okay, well then, So OKC kind of changes things though. Now it makes me think, does that fit really work? Huh. All right. Well, it is what it is, guys. I gave them Dalen Terry. Prof gave them Andrew Nembhard, which made a lot of sense for Denver. But if it's not Denver, then and then D picked Jalen Hardy.
I would have gone a different direction if I knew it was OKC.
Right. I know. Me too. I don't know why. Dalen, you can never have too much talent, but maybe a glut of talent at the same position might be a little bit much. So, but that's where we rounded out our individual drafts, guys.
Yep.
So,
right.
That's pretty much it.
I'm interested to see how it comes out and who is the most accurate.
I'm pretty sure I'm going to be the most accurate.
Yeah, you would say that, and I think that
like that.
Yeah. I think I nailed it. I think I'm pick for pick. It's going to be the first time anybody's ever nailed a mock draft pick for pick in history. I think even when we get to the end, I was picking for a different team. I think even they're going to pick that same.
Yeah,
whatever.
And we made a bet that whoever has the most picks relative to the draft. What was it? A $20
gift card.
Chili's or something like that.
Yeah.
Outbacks or whatever.
Get your Outbacks, get your Applebee's, whatever you prefer.
Whatever. Anyway. What do you think? What if we threw out some fan mock drafts, maybe, and have them submit them to Ron's email and see if he could post it on an episode? The closest one. Just something to think about, fans.
Well, listen. That is something. If you guys want to
send your mock
drafts, send them to stillnickfans@gmail.com. No S for the email.
Put it in the chat. Man.
Yeah, I think I will do that. If you guys are interested in doing that,
You could send them to the site. That would be good.
Now hold on, guys, because guess what? Even though we are done with our individual, we do have the consensus mock draft. Now, this is the draft that we all agreed on that this is how it could shake out. This doesn't mean we agree that this is who we would pick. We just think that with the players available, the needs, this is how it might shake out. So I'm going to use the simulator to run through that. Prof, if you got to go, brother, I understand. I appreciate you being here, rocking with us. You're welcome to stay for a little bit if you want to, but if you got to go.
I'm here. I want to see that mock draft.
All right, because this is not going to take long. We already kind of went through. We're just going to kind of breeze through the picks.
Gotta see it.
All right. So, first off, thank you guys once again for tuning in. This is the Still Knick Fans Draft Special brought to you by the Draftologist, featuring my man, NBA Mock Draft Feed Sports in the building. Part 3, we are doing it for you once again. Okay, so let me get this draft simulator up for everybody. Here we go, guys. Bear with me. See what I got going on here.
I got something special over there.
Yeah, man. Here we go. So, on the clock is the Orlando Magic. And with the first pick in the NBA draft for the 2022 season, the Orlando Magic select Chet Holmgren. That's right. He is the pick. 7 feet, 195 pounds, 19 years old. You see it. Chet is the guy.
Yeah. They bullied me to that decision.
Consensus, man. It's the consensus.
Yeah. They seem nice on the outside, but
man, business is business, man. We gotta get this right.
Now, watch this. This is an interesting consensus. I don't even know how we got here.
Oh yeah,
I got bullied, I think. I don't know. With the second pick in the 2022 NBA draft, the Oklahoma City Thunder select Jaden Ivey.
You got bullied into that.
6'4", 200 pounds, 20 years old. Look at that guy. Dynamic player. With the third pick in the NBA draft in the 2022 season, the Houston Rockets select Mr. Jabari Smith. 6'10". He doesn't have a weight, apparently. So he weighs nothing. Now you know this dude is a superstar. Light as a feather.
Infinity strength.
Oh, man. With the fourth pick in the 2022 NBA draft, the Sacramento Kings select Paolo Banchero, 6'10", 250 pounds, 19 years old. With the fifth pick in the 2022 NBA draft, the Detroit Pistons select Keegan Murray, 6'8", 225, 20 years old. Look at them numbers, man. Keegan was a baller, no? Sheesh. Okay.
Most efficient player in this draft.
Facts. Look like that, man. Keegan balling, man. All right. With the sixth pick in the 2022 NBA draft, the Indiana Pacers select Shaden Sharp, 6'6", 200 pounds, 19 years old, and he's so good, he don't need stats, folks. Anyway, once again, for anybody who does not know, Shaden Sharp does not have any stats because he didn't play college basketball. He was a redshirt with Kentucky this year. So the only stats he actually has is high school stats. And that's
I believe he practiced with them, though. Did he practice?
He did practice with them, but they didn't,
he was really good in practice. He was really good in practice.
He was really good in practice, yeah. So yeah, that's the situation with him. With the seventh pick in the NBA draft in the 2022 season, the Portland Trail Blazers select Benedict Mathurin, 6'6", 210 pounds, 20 years old.
That would be beautiful.
It would, wouldn't it? With the eighth pick in the 2022 NBA draft, the New Orleans Pelicans select Dyson Daniels, 6'6", 185 pounds. Dyson Daniels is in a different situation because he did play for the G League elite team. However, those stats are not stats that are counted towards his overall game. They're not like college NBA or NBA stats, so you can't bring those up at this point. But watching Dyson Daniels, you can see his ability. You can see what he can do out there on the court, and that's why he would get drafted in this position. All right. So now, with the ninth pick in the 2022 NBA draft, the San Antonio Spurs select Ousmane Dieng, 6'10", 205 pounds, another player who doesn't have stats to really point to because he played overseas for the NZ Breakers. So,
I think Prof is I think he's got to go.
I want to let everybody know. Thank you guys for having me again. At Feet Sports, you can hit me on Instagram and at Feets Consultant 24/7 @gmail.com. Ron, you can put it in the chat or whatever you want to do with that. But reach out if you just want to chop it up about some of these picks, get a little insight. Thank you, guys.
All right, Prof. Take care of yourself, brother.
Have a good night.
All right, man. Thank you. Appreciate you as always, brother.
All right.
All right. So now, where was I here? With the 10th pick in the 2022 NBA draft, the Washington Wizards select. And I'm not mad at this pick, but I am mad at this pick because it's one pick right before the New York Knicks. Mr. Johnny Davis, 6'5", 194 pounds, 20 years old. Look at them stats. Nothing wrong with them stats. I like them. All right. With the 11th pick in the 2022 NBA draft, the New York Knicks select. For some of you out there, you may like this. Others may be like, really? But it's a need. Mark Williams from Duke, 6'10", 242 pounds, 20 years old, the center.
Mm-hmm.
With the 12th pick in the NBA draft from the 2022 season, the Oklahoma City Thunder select Jalen Duren, 6'10", 250 pounds, 19 years old. With the 13th pick, the Charlotte Hornets select in the 2022 NBA draft, Mr. Jeremy Sohan, 6'10", 230 pounds, 19 years old. With the 14th pick in the NBA draft for the 2022 season, the Cleveland Cavaliers select Ochai Agbaji, 6'6", 215 pounds, 22 years old. A little older than some of these other guys, and I think that's part of the reason why he doesn't get as acknowledged as others, just because he's a little older and he's getting closer to his prime coming into the NBA.
I think stuff like that is so overrated.
No, it doesn't make sense. If you could play, you can play, and you fit my team. Let's get you.
Exactly.
You,
and like, especially that the average lifespan is like 4 years, and then like, you know, I get the point of like you have more to like develop guys at 19, 20, and I get that. But at the same time, though, how many one and dones have not panned out in this league, bro? And how many guys that have been 21, 22 years old come out that have very good careers? So I think that's I think that stuff is overrated, bro.
Right. With the 15th pick in the 2022 NBA draft, the Charlotte Hornets on the clock again select Mr. Tari Eason, 6'8", 216 pounds, 20 years old.
Came off the bench too with all that.
That's the thing. Like, that's why I look at him. I know I put other guys ahead of him, but he's interesting because the coming off the bench part is what I mean. I'm like, yo, I mean, he put up some pretty good basketball numbers, and his game was for coming off the bench. I don't know.
Yep.
With the 16th pick in the 2022 NBA draft, the Atlanta Hawks select AJ Griffin from Duke, 6'6", 222 pounds, 19 years old.
That tells you what we think of AJ Griffin.
I don't know why AJ Griffin doesn't have stats here, folks. I don't know. I don't know why that is. Maybe he didn't. I mean, no, I don't know. Did he not play enough games? I don't know what that's about. Weird. With the 17th pick in the 2022 NBA draft, the Houston Rockets select Kennedy Chandler, 6'1", 171 pounds, 19 years old. With the 18th pick in the 2022 NBA draft, the Chicago Bulls, they are on the clock. They are selecting Mr. Jalen Williams, 6'6", 190 pounds, 21 years old. Once again, another player that's a little older than you see the common 19 and 20. He's 21, so it doesn't hurt him as much. But, you know, once again, they look at these players, you're a little older, you know, you get looked at differently. It's just that's the natural order of things with these drafts.
Most of the great players that have ever played this game played 3 or 4 years of college, bro. Just saying.
I mean, that's how it used to be. And that's why these players played. They came into the NBA much more polished and better players. But whatever, you know, for the most part. With the 19th pick in the 2022 NBA Draft, the Minnesota Timberwolves select Marjan Beauchamp, 6'7", 185 pounds. You guys already know situation why he doesn't have numbers up here. He played for the G League Ignite team, so those numbers aren't counted.
He would really help them because they definitely need perimeter defenders.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense. I could see why we went with that pick. With the 20th pick in the 2022 NBA Draft, the San Antonio Spurs are on the clock, and they select E.J. Liddell, 6'7", 240 pounds. Interesting player and can stretch the floor. So might be a nice pick for them. With the 21st pick in the 2022 NBA Draft, the Denver Nuggets are on the clock, and they select, Mr. Jake LaRavia, power forward from Wake Forest, 6'8", 235 pounds, 21 years old.
Almost averaged 4 assists. And, with the back complications of Michael Porter Jr., they could really use a guy like that.
Yeah. I mean, and, I just like looking at his highlights, man. He's an interesting player. He does a lot of interesting things, and he's got some bunnies too. Not too bad. Not too bad. With the 22nd pick, the Memphis Grizzlies select in the 2022 NBA Draft. Let's see if I can find them. There he is. Nikola Jovic, 6'10". He weighs nothing, folks. Now, we don't have his weight, and obviously, European player doesn't have the stats up there. So, that's how it is. But I can just tell you, very good scoring small forward.
Would fit with Memphis beautifully.
Yeah, they could use that because Memphis has all types of good defense over there. They could use a little bit more scoring, especially when some of those guys have nights off.
And especially that Kyle Anderson might not come back. They're going to have minutes from him.
Good point. So the 76ers are on the clock with the 23rd pick in the 2022 NBA Draft. They are selecting. I might have to go down a little bit. There he is, Mr. Dalen Terry, 6'7", 195 pounds, 20 years old. And guys, I know if you immediately look at those numbers, you say, man, this is low numbers, but he wasn't a starter for them, and his potentiality is incredible. Put him in a system and let him go to work.
Yeah. The Arizona team was stacked, and he played a role, and he played it very well there. And plus, he's locked down defensively. 76ers would have a very happy dream to have him there, especially that they need that 3-4 position anyhow. And especially to have another playmaker with James Harden and Tyrese Maxey. That'll be gigantic, bro.
I can see that. That's a gift for them. With the 24th pick in the 2022 NBA Draft, the Milwaukee Bucks are on the clock, and they are selecting Mr. Malachi Branham. That's a nice looking pick for Milwaukee. I can't go wrong with that. 6'5", 180 pounds, 19 years old. Very good scoring, sweet stroke, mid-range, short range, long range. Like he can do it all.
Yeah.
Good player.
Yeah, his swing will be that if a place like Milwaukee is very good for him because he has to work defensively. Like he has to get better. And I think Milwaukee would get that out of him. And he's got the measurables. He's 6'5" with a 6'10" wingspan. So if he could shoot that prolifically at the next level and able to go to an organization that could lock him down defensively, Malachi could be a very good pickup.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, because Malachi's weakness is defense. Not that he can't play it, but he's kind of bad at it right now. But if you get him into an organization where they can teach him, Milwaukee's a very good defensive team. One, they can help him learn. And two, listen, he's not going to really kill them because they got a lot of good defensive players over there that can make up for some of his lapses, but he'll give them that scoring punch. San Antonio is on the clock with the 25th pick in the 2022 NBA draft, and they are selecting Mr. Walker Kessler, 7 feet, 245 pounds, 20 years old. Unfortunately, I mean, these are good stats for a college big man, and they can translate to the NBA given the reps and in the amount of time that he can get. The one stat that I wish they would have put up for him, because it's very important, is the blocks, in which you would see 4.5 blocks somewhere right in here.
Yeah.
So.
And he moves a lot better than people. They make him sound like he's like an ogre or something like that. Like,
right.
He moves a lot better than that. It's just that I think with Auburn too, like they didn't really get to really showcase his potential like versatility. So maybe he can go somewhere and kind of show that he could do a little bit more.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. With the 26th pick in the 2022 NBA draft, the Houston Rockets are on the clock. And at 26, they are selecting. Hold on. Let me go get him. He is down here, folks. Let me go get him. Woo!
Who are you
We're
looking
gonna
for?
find them.
Who are you looking for?
Christian Braun.
No. He's way. Go down.
Yeah, he might. What's his position again? His primary. Small forward. That'll make it easier because he is.
Yeah, but go towards the tens. Dude, he's a first round prospect, bro.
Oh shoot! Yeah, you're right. You ain't lying.
Yeah, you're at the end of the draft.
Yeah. Where is he? Maybe they don't have him at You think they got him at another?
Okay, shooting guard.
They got him at shooting guard. Oh, no wonder. Yeah. Okay.
Play small forward at Kansas. So
yeah, I don't know what that's about, but I mean 6'6". Okay, all right, whatever. Yeah, so 6'6", 218 pounds, 21 years old. Got that age thing going again. Yeah, it's not a bad pick. It makes sense for what the Rockets could use over there because they just need guys that can put the ball in the hoop. Not mad at that.
40-inch vertical.
Yeah, no, he fits that explosiveness that they like too. On the clock now with the 27th pick is the Miami Heat in the 2022 NBA draft. And the Miami Heat are selecting. Makes a lot of sense. Ty Washington, 6'4", 197 pounds, 19 years old. Yeah, Ty is Kentucky's own, man. He's behind players like Maxey and our guy Emmanuel Quickly. Ty is the next in line from that guard position over there in Kentucky.
I don't think he's gonna go that low though.
He probably won't. With the 28th pick, the world champion Golden State Warriors. That's right, the world champion Golden State Warriors select Jalen Williams, 6'10", 240 pounds, 20 years old. Nice numbers, man. Almost a double-double right there. Pretty much a double-double in college. So, yeah, I could definitely see how that would work for the Golden State Warriors.
They'll love him.
I think they will, too. With the 29th pick, the Memphis Grizzlies are on the clock. The 2022 NBA draft selection for them will be Mr. Jaden Hardy, 6'4", 190 pounds. Obviously, he doesn't have any stats up there because he was also a member of the G League Ignite team. But
why they wouldn't record their stats is
I don't get it. It's the NBA G League. I don't know why their stats don't matter, but okay. And then we are here, folks, with the last pick in the first round of the 2022 NBA draft. The Denver Nuggets select Mr. Ismail Kamagate, 6'11", 227 pounds, European player, played on the Paris, was from Paris, played on the French team, and obviously European, doesn't have the stats up here that count towards the draft process. So
yeah, I think he'll be taken first round around that time. He's got too much upside.
And there you have it, folks. There you go. There's the snapshot. Pretty much, that's the picks, guys. So there we go, folks. That is it. That is what we were working with there, folks. I hope you guys enjoyed that part of the NBA draft process, our individual stuff, as well as the consensus mock draft. You may not agree with what we picked individually, or you may not agree with the consensus, but the bottom line is no one knows. We're picking who we pick because of what we think the needs are, and then the consensus is just us kind of basically going off of needs and thinking maybe what the teams would do. But we don't know what can happen. I mean, last year we saw OKC took Giddey early. We wasn't expecting that. And then San Antonio went way early with the Josh Primo pick. So you never know. If a team wants a guy, they want a guy, they're going to take the guy whenever they take the guy. So We'll see. This could be one of those drafts as well. And I actually think there might be a lot of wheeling and dealing in this draft. So stay tuned. That should be very interesting. Also, before we get out of here, we wanted to touch on a couple guys that may go undrafted. And so we want to bring them to the forefront to kind of,
just real quick before we go there. We also kept in mind that when we did this draft, this mock draft, we didn't include trades. And just like you had mentioned, I think there's going to be a whole mess. And the Knicks in the last couple of years have, gone back and stuff like that. And I think they will do that again this year. And if not, if they do stick with the 11th pick, I definitely do think that they can use Mitch's sign and trade. They could use Rokas' stash and draft. They could use Obi if he's only going to play 15 minutes. And they have a whole bunch of second round picks that they could really get another first round pick in the first round. So that's something to look out for. Another thing too is that before we get into these guys, let's get into these guys and then I'll do that.
Okay, cool. No problemo. Let me see. I don't know if I got him already. I might have. I just wanted to give you guys, if I miss you, I apologize, not perfect, but I definitely want to try. I want to give a big shout out to Garden of Knicks Podcast, Allen 1985, Robert Bruce, Raleigh Bayang, Ron Sarmiento, Shot Clock Violation, JJ Nolasco, Angelo Caldura, Reese Rolex. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. And let me see here. Shot Clock said the Pacers are adding Duarte to the Brogdon package. Oh, interesting. They really trying to move Brogdon, man. Brogdon he's a tough one, man. That's a tough one.
Can't stay healthy.
If he could stay healthy, it'd be great. It's a no-brainer, but that's the reason why they're trying to sweeten that pot. I don't know. We'll see. All right. So here we go.
Yeah, so this was some undrafted players that, just in case we only keep 11 and 42 or whatever it is. These are guys that I think that could be put on the summer league team for the Knicks. And I think these are guys undrafted that, should be evaluated and take a look at. So my first one was James Akinjo. He played with Baylor. He's a point guard. I thought he did really well in the G League camp that they had there before the draft combine. He did a good job of setting up the offense. He got to his spots. He's really quick off the dribble. Defensively, he's a liability, but at least he can set up your offense. And at least, he can get to the lanes and make things happen. He gets to the cup well. He finishes well for his height as well. So that's somebody just undrafted to look at. I think it's worth a look. My second guy is Vince Williams Jr. I thought he would be a lot higher, and there's a lot of people that still think he's going to be drafted. but for some reason they had him they felt that he didn't have a good elite G League camp before the combine, and I disagreed with that. So if teams are going to fall asleep on him, not take him, I think he should be scooped up very early and be put on the summer league roster. My third guy was Scottie Pippen Jr. I thought he had a very good draft combine. And I know his height is an issue and stuff like that, but he showed the ability to score the basketball and get to his spots. And he put a lot of good backcourt pressure too on ball handlers. And I think Tibbs would like that. So that's somebody worth working out. And my honorable mention was Khalifa Diop, where he's a project, but I mean, if somebody's not going to draft him, he does have a lot of upside, and we'll be interested to see how he looks at a summer league type of forum. And for the league, real quick, Tyrese Martin. If you guys watched the draft combine and the G League camp before the combine, he really had a really nice combine, and I think it's going to catch the attention of certain guys. If he doesn't get drafted, I think he'll be scooped up. Peyton Watson played for UCLA, limited minutes, but he's 6'8" with a 7'1" wingspan. He showed a little bit of ball handling. He showed glimpses of things. UCLA did, in my opinion, didn't take full advantage of that, of showcasing that. I think NBA team will be very interested in him. And my last guy is Carlo Makovic, and he actually was the teammate of Nikola Jovic in his draft, and he's got pop. He's a sweeper, and if he goes off the board and stuff like that, I think a lot of teams are going to be very interested in him. So that was my undrafted players to watch for.
Yeah. I like it. I mean, I tell you one thing. One guy on this list that I really do like, and it's not because his father was my favorite player ever, but Scottie Pippen Jr. Is a player with some nice skill. And maybe over time he can prove to be a really valuable asset for a team. I know, once again, for some new people coming in may not know that. Yeah, Ron from Still Knicks fans, Knicks fan all his life. His favorite player was Scottie Pippen. Don't judge me. I get it.
Paradox.
It's crazy. I know, but I hated his guts when we played against him. But I just liked him as a player. I just thought he was special. I don't know, something about the way he played. All right. Anyway, so yeah, that is it when it comes to our draft coverage. I just want to give a shout out once again to the chat. And let me see here. There was something that shout out to XO Sports Talk. Appreciate you. Thank you for tuning in. And if you haven't watched from the beginning, definitely watch the replay of the draft. After it's formally uploaded through YouTube, I'll put some timestamps. So if you want to see the start of the individual mock and then you want to see the consensus mock, you'll know where that starts. And then I'll also put a timestamp for where we start talking about the undrafted players. And once again, I just want to give a shout out to my Filipino people that may have tuned in and may be watching right now. You don't see Kai Sato on the list of the 1 through 30 because we don't think he'll be in the first round. And we also don't necessarily have him as a part of this undrafted talent because I do think he will be drafted somewhere in the second round. Where, we don't know. Some team might go early. We don't know, but I think he will get drafted because I think he's enough of a talent that a team can take a look at him. And for some teams, just be quite frank, some teams might really be interested in the fanfare that comes along with him. They really probably want to build their fan base and get all the Filipino love that Kai is generating. So, that's just being honest because that's what's going on. People see the importance of a guy like Kai Sato. So,
yeah, and another thing too, they might take a swing on him too because the NBDO has produced very good talent in the last 3 or 4 years. So they might want to take a swing like that and say, hey, Giddey's worked out, LaMelo worked out. So let's take a shot on Soto here and see what we get. He won't be worth much, so
That's a good point. Man, we're 2 days away, guys. Listen, I'm excited. I know you guys are excited. I can't believe how fast. I mean, this is like boom, like a blink of an eye. It's here, bro. This is nuts. It's definitely crept up on us, man.
Just so before we go, I wanted to let you guys know that well, first, please, guys, like and subscribe to this channel if you're new, as well as still Knicks fans. Also, to like and subscribe to my channel at D's World of Hoops. I just finished putting up an Andrew Nembhard video. And it was like I put up his interview. I also put up like a player breakdown of what he did at the draft combine and what he could bring to an NBA team. I'm going to be real honest with you. I feel that the Knicks should take a very hard look at Andrew Nembhard because, you guys are clamoring for point guards all day, and this guy is a maestro with the basketball, man. He can run any NBA team day one. His IQ is very high and stuff like that. So make sure you guys check that out. Also, too, on Friday, right after the draft, I am going to host my first live, and I'm going to do it like around 5 o'clock or so. And I'll put a thumbnail out there for you guys. And what we're going to go over is that we're going to go over the Knicks pick and what they did with it and, chop up shop about that. And also, too, we're also going to go over the 5 biggest winners of the draft as well. I want you guys to know that when you guys do come on, it will be complete chat, interactive experience. Okay, you guys are going to be heavily involved in this. You guys are going to have a lot of questions. I'm going to have you guys feature on the show on certain questions to give you guys breakdown and stuff like that. Really looking forward to that. I'm really looking forward to seeing you guys as well.
Dope. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to that. I'm going to be in Atlantic City. So I don't know. I'm going to try to make it, but I don't know for certain if I can. But I'm definitely going to support if I can and be there. And if I can, I will definitely watch it from wherever I am or try to get the replay because I'm looking forward to what these got cooking up over here. And one more thing before I get out of here, or we get out of here. As I said, I won't be here because I will be in Atlantic City. And you guys already know why. And if you don't know why, let me show you.
The second annual NBK draft party in Atlantic City. There'll be a live podcast, live DJ, live video shoot. $40 for a VIP ticket, $30 for draft night only. Get your tickets now.
That's right. What he said. Get your tickets now. So thank you guys once again for rocking with us. This has been a great 3-part series. I want to thank my man, D, the draftologist, so much for being here with me and helping put this together. We did this as a combined effort, and D was very instrumental in this. He really put this together. I just like to call myself the vessel to kind of help put it out there. And thank you to my man Prophet from Feet Sports as well. This has been dope. Shout out to my man John. Shout out to my man Jose. And then maybe we'll do a little something a little later after the draft because, we want to see what the Knicks wind up doing and talk about how things turned out, just like these going to be hitting on that right away. Maybe we'll visit it a little later on Still Knicks Fans. So thank you guys once again. Appreciate you. And let me see if I don't want to miss anybody. Yep, everybody's here. Appreciate you guys. Hit that like button on your way out. If you're just joining now, watch the replay.
Yep.
Thank you for tuning in. As always, we'll be rocking. And don't forget, tune in to the MBK draft party on Thursday night. We're going to be coming at you live from Atlantic City. It should be pretty fun. So can't wait. You guys have a great night.
Thank you,
we
guys.
are out of here.
Yep. Have a good night, guys. Thank you.